Hi there, and today I thought I would tell you how I stay connected with family and friends while living abroad. Stay tuned. Hi there and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Kelly and I live in a small town in Denmark, and I'm actually from the Midwest in the United States. And that's where all of my family lives for the most part. I have family who live in other parts of the US, but they're pretty much all in that one country. So I'm pretty far away from my family. And there may be many of you out there who live far away from family. Maybe it's a few hours away. Maybe it's a few states away if you live in the US. Or maybe it's an entire ocean away like I live from my family. I'm going to share with you some ways that I stay connected with my family while I'm living so far away. And I think during these uncertain corona times, it can really be helpful tips for those of you who maybe live close to your family, but you're still not able to be connected. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications whenever I post new videos. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video where you get to see what we are doing right now to stay connected at this very moment with our family members. The way that I communicate with different people depends really on who they are and their style of communication. For example, my number one is using FaceTime for iPhone. Well, I know that whenever I contact my niece, I always use FaceTime. For whatever reason, that is the easiest way to get a hold of her. And it's almost like calling her phone, but we're still able to see each other, which is so important because she lives far away. And whenever we visit, it may only be a couple of days in a year that I actually get to see her. And she is someone whom I saw almost every day of her life growing up until we moved. So it's very difficult for us. But now that she's in college, she has kind of a busy schedule of her own. And FaceTime has really kind of helped us stay connected with her. My number two is Facebook Messenger. I know there are other apps out there that people use maybe to stay connected, but Facebook Messenger really works well for my family. I know that my mom and my sister and my brother and my cousins are all on Facebook. So it's really easy for us to post pictures on there so they can see what it is that we're doing, post short little video clips, that is if they're not watching my YouTube channel. And we also can communicate on Facebook Messenger. I really like Facebook Messenger for the fact that, again, you can see each other. My parents don't have iPhones, so FaceTime doesn't work with them. So whenever I want to communicate with my mother, Facebook Messenger is my best option. So that's probably the one that we use the most often. My number three is Skype. Now, my dad doesn't have a Facebook account, and he doesn't have an iPhone. So if I want to have a conversation just with my dad, then I need to communicate with him on Skype. And it's so nice that there are apps for all of these different things on your phone. So I can just go ahead and click on my Skype app, and I can talk with my dad. So I know it's a lot of different ways that I have to keep tabs of so far for 3 members of my family. But it gets to be routine after a while and you get used to it. I also use Skype when I'm talking with one of my professors. During the corona times, I had to do my classes online, and Skype was the best way to communicate with my teachers. So it's something that's very useful in a lot of different ways. My number 4 is Google Duo. This is not one that I particularly use, but this is one that my son uses because my son does not have an iPhone. My son does not have Facebook, and my son does not know what Skype is. But he still wants to communicate with his grandparents who live in the USA. So he has the app Google Duo on his phone, and he can communicate and send video and send phone messages the same way you would really with these other apps. But it works best for him because I know that I can communicate with my dad on Skype, but I can't communicate with my mom. But for my son, he can communicate with anyone who has the Google Duo app. So we really have encouraged our family members to have that because now that he's 10, he has his own phone and he wants to communicate with his family on his own phone. So it's a lot of different ways so far that we're experimenting, but I'm so glad that we have them, because when my son is calling people on the phone, mostly it's just his little friends here in town, but maybe he wants to talk with his cousin who lives in Skanderborg, for example. Well, that's not very far from where we live, but still it's nice that in this day and age, these kids are so used to technology. They're so used to video calling and all these different things. Things that when I was a kid was like, it sounded like the space age and that it would never happen in my lifetime. But my son is able to talk not just with his cousins who live in the USA, but his cousins who live in other parts of Denmark. So it's really a nice app for him. And we don't want him to have a Facebook account as a 10-year-old. And again, I have these different means of contacting different people in my family, but it's nice for him to have just the one. My number 5 is something very different. So far, what I've been talking about has been technology. But what about those family members who don't really have technology or use it? I have a 95-year-old grandmother. She does not have a smartphone. She does not have a computer. So when it comes time to contacting my grandmother, I need to call her. But I don't have a phone plan that allows me to call the United States. And so far, it's not been needed because I've had all these other ways of contacting my family. But with my 95-year-old grandmother, I feel like I'm not able to connect with her. I'm not able to share the things with her. And when I do see her for 3 days every year, it's like I'm bombarding her with all kinds of pictures and information and all these different things in one very short period of time. So I have recently worked with the company Neveo, and they have this paper newsletter. So I have an app on my phone and also on my computer where I am able to upload pictures to this photo album and write a short caption. And at the end of the month, it gets processed, and in the very middle of the following month, the newsletter gets sent out to my grandmother in the mail. So she'll go to the mail as she normally does to get her bills and whatever else that's out there. But once every month, there will also be a newsletter, and it will be filled with the pictures that we put in there. We have a newsletter where it's 50 pictures, and so it's literally a book. There's so many pictures on each page, and she's able to keep that and look at it whenever she wants to. But she can sit down and look at it every single day if she wants to. And I kind of like the idea of that, of me being kind of around my grandmother more often. And the next month, she'll get a brand new newsletter. But it's obviously something that I have to upload. There could be more than one person adding pictures to the newsletter, so my sister can add to it, my mom can add to it, because they live in different parts of the US than my grandmother. They don't get to see her that often either, and so this is a really great way of communicating. It was so heartbreaking during the Corona times when you see people, who are living in these nursing homes who aren't able to see family members. This would be something that they would get. It's almost like getting a little present. And that's something that we recently just started using, and we're so excited about, because it's our way of reaching out to our grandmother. The last thing that I'm going to mention is the Fils de la Resistance, and is actually the sponsor of this video. So a major shout out goes to Frameo for sending me a frame to try out and to see what I think of this way of communicating with my family, and I have to say that I love it. I am so obsessed with this. So here we go. This is a digital frame that you can actually add pictures to via your smartphone. All you have to do is download the app, and you can actually share the code to your frame with your family members. So we did that. We shared it with my siblings, my husband's siblings, our parents, and one of my cousins. And so this frame is actually bombarded. As you can see, it's also been shared with my 10-year-old son. They can send any picture or short video that they want to, and it goes directly to our screen. And it is so exciting to see what new pictures that we have. So once my Wi-Fi is turned on with this, anyone that I've shared the code with can send pictures to this frame. We sit in our breakfast table and we look at the pictures to see what new pictures of my new furry niece have my sister added. We absolutely love this. You can scroll through and see all the different pictures that are on here, and it holds quite a few of them. So far, when we started this frame yesterday, I think that we have actually gotten close to 30 pictures uploaded from various family members. My grandmother just turned 95, and there was a party for her over the weekend. Obviously, I was not able to go. They were able to send me pictures to the frame right away of the party. So here's my grandmother's birthday party. It's like I get to be a part of it. It's such a wonderful thing. I know that on Facebook we can share pictures with each other, we can share videos, but my children aren't on Facebook and they don't really see all that. But with this, it gets uploaded right away. And again, if we're looking at it every morning when we eat breakfast, we get to see it together as a family. We get to read the little caption on the bottom. We get to find out, oh, where are they today? What I really like about Frameo is that the software is actually designed here in Denmark, and it's used with 30 other brands that sell this product, and a lot of them are actually on Amazon. It's so funny because my older son, the one who has the phone and is now actually sending photos to the frame, he was really kind of bummed that on his app he couldn't see all the pictures that other people were sending to the frame. The only people who can see what's being sent to the frame are the people who own the frame. You could send out the code to 40 people, but those pictures that you send to the frame are only visible to the person with the frame, not the other 39 people. So my son was saying how he thinks that everybody in his family should have one of these frames so he can send them pictures. You didn't just get me hooked on this product, but you also got my son hooked on it. I think that actually if I got him a frame for his birthday to put in his room, he would actually love it. Now I'm going to add a couple of honorable mentions into this video of a few things that I think are also kind of fun. One would be writing postcards, especially with my son who's 7. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have an iPad. He doesn't have any of these apps or access really to technology of his own. Sure, he goes on and plays video games, but he's not on there checking his Facebook, for example. This way, he's still able to feel like he's connected with people. Of course, another honorable mention would be to write a blog. That's one of the reasons why I actually started the blog, My New Danish Life, in the first place, was to give my friends and family back home a little bit of taste of what life is like living here in Denmark. That blog, of course, has grown into a lot of different directions, but it could be a way for you to just write out some of your thoughts and maybe to see how your expat journey has changed throughout the years. And I want to give family members just a suggestion. If you have someone who has moved abroad or moved far, far away from where you live right now, you may feel sad and it may feel very difficult for you to be apart, but this person is in a completely different situation. They moved away from everything that is normal. Perhaps your life has stayed the same, but everything in their life may have changed, especially if they have moved abroad. So, sending a care package every so often to that family member who has decided to move away might be a nice thing. I know we always appreciate it. Are you living away from home? How are you staying connected? The way that you stay connected, is that different for different people depending on their preferred means of technology or their access to it? Let me know about it in the comments. Thank you to Frameo for sponsoring this video. We love our frame and we are so excited to get new pictures quite often from our family members. I love this way of staying connected. No matter how we stay connected, it is difficult at times to live away from family, but it's so nice to have these little ways to make you feel that the distance is not so far. Thanks for coming along on this video. I hope to see you in another one. And as always, take care.